Hi guys, it's Bricked Up Billy again. Yeah, like I said in the last two episodes, if you haven't checked it out, have a look at the channel. Game Wanderers. We do a few topical and political debates, Q&A, gaming, walkthroughs and whatnot. Yeah, pretty cool. It's pretty new, so all the support is good. But yeah, cheers for tuning in, and I'll continue where I left off in the second part. Basically, with your provisioners, assigning them specifically, like this is one of my, I call her a watchman or watchwoman if you like, but say for instance if I wanted to send her on a supply route, so basically supply routes in a nutshell connect your settlements so that you don't have to keep, they connect your settlements in terms of the junk that you store, like baby rattles and ashtrays and bone and all that crap. But yeah, that's the sort of stuff that it saves you going back and forth and lugging stuff around, and it saves loads of time while setting them up is a ball ache. Hopefully by the end of these tutorials you will not struggle with it as I did. Yeah. But yeah, basically yeah, to assign, literally as you can see in the bottom right, the bottom of the screen, just press R1, assign them. It will depend a little bit on your charisma as well, and you will need to assign trade routes. I probably should have mentioned this in the last tutorial as well. You will need a perk, and you will probably need to be about level 15 as well to have them both. Basically you need level 2 on that. Yeah, level 20. Yeah, you need to get the second level of the cap collector perk and the local leader perk. I don't think you need the level 1 to build established trade lines. You only need the level 1. But basically it's worth investing in a second level as well, because like for instance you can build these, which just helps you scrap items, and obviously the crafting aspect of it as well, which we'll go into a bit more depth in, like modding guns and armour and all that stuff later. But yeah, the public speaker perk lets you build these and that. But yeah, after you've assigned your provisioners, there are a few problems which you will come across, and if you're like me, I don't have much patience, it will piss you off, but there are ways around it. The best thing to do when you start like assigning settlers to be a provisioner, it's worth mentioning on the consoles and about the PC, I think I mentioned it in the last one as well, but it's irreversible, so be careful. Save it, just save it, yeah, save it before you start messing around with it, and then you can always just load it. Another tip when you're assigning provisioners is like this one. I mean, she's not a provisioner, but a lot of my provisioners are kitted out with the same sort of gear, purely because while they don't die, like any settlers you have, any provisioners you have, companions, they're invincible basically. They'll get knocked out, but they won't die. They'll just get back up after the action's over. But if you kit them out a bit and give them a decent weapon, while provisioners, like I say, they don't die, but it will slow them down, and I'm sure it has some implications on like how much you can earn with your shops and stuff. Like if your provisioners keep getting knocked down, you'll find that your settlement won't be as productive, if you get me gist. So it is worth kitting them out, and literally don't have to spend loads of money on it or waste loads of resources modding their gear. Like, I mean, what this settlers to trade, you just talk to them. Like this settler's just got basic stuff, and this is stuff that I picked up. Gunners, don't be afraid to kill the gunners. They aren't friendly. I've not come across a single one that hasn't shot at me, and they all usually have pretty good gear on them, like combat armour specifically. I think I got that from one of the gunner conscripts. So yeah, fire at will and take the shit and use it. Basically, it also helps. I'd advise. It might seem a little bit compulsive and obsessive or what, but I'd advise like what I've done with Starlight. Build yourself, just so it helps organise it. It doesn't take time, and it doesn't take many resources to build that. I think it's like 5 wood. So yeah, a light in there there, for instance, I've got like, what you can see, helmets and hats and shit. And then in this little footlocker you've got leg armour. That one you've got like under armour, if you like underwear, or I don't know what you want to call it, but like stuff that you can wear armour on top of. And like mechanic suits, I think they're all in ones, but that's another tip as well. It's the best if you can separate your settlers, like distinguish one from another from a distance, or it will help you a lot. So like, I don't know, dress your provisioners in a certain type of armour. Like my farmers are dressing just scrappy clothes, just so you know who they are and you can manage them better. And like anyone I've got on an outpost, like guard post, just kit them out like a soldier. Like like I said about killing the gunners earlier, they'll always have military fatigue. It just makes them recognisable. So yeah, and with your provisioners, like I said earlier, the general rule is just one in, one out. If you send a provisioner to another settlement, make sure you go to that settlement that you sent the provisioner to, and send one of the residents of that settlement that you've sent one to another settlement. So you've always got one going in, one coming out. Keep it in a chain, and it will just simplify things. Like like I say, you can show your supply lines by pressing L1 when you're in your Pip-Boy. Zoom out, it just gives you an overview. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but this is probably the least glitchiest and less complicated way that I found doing it. Just keep it in a chain, one in, one out. Other things about the provisioners, reassigning them. Inevitably, you will come across new settlements, you'll get them through quests. That's another pointer. I'd say if you do come across a settlement, have a little look in. Don't rush head on into the quest that they give you to ally the settlement, because if you haven't done any quests with like the Brotherhood of Steel or the Railroad, you'll just assign all the settlements to the Minutemen. And like, I mean, I've got a mission at the moment with Somerville Place from the Brotherhood of Steel, and they want me to go and secure farm rations. And like, I've got a HQ with the Railroad at Hangman's Alley, and it's a Railroad safe house. So it's best to wait for the quest. Do what you like, but I'd say if you want to save the glitches and less complications, it's best, like Bethesda games are known for it, just let it initiate. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, reassigning provisioners. The best thing to do to make it less complicated. Where are they all gone? Oh yeah, while I'm here, while I can't find one, the best way to find your provisioners, find a bed or a bench. I'll use a bed in this case, and sleep in it just for an hour, and you should find that there will be a provisioner wandering in.
Yes.
There you go. The best way to organise your provisioners when you send them out is give them a gun and rename it for their trade route. Like, he is my let me think, he is going from, yeah, he's coming from Greentop Nursery, and I've got his gun called Greentop. So when I look at him, if I want to reassign him, say I want to link that up to my trade route, I'd use him, and I'd go to him, reassign him as you do in the workshop mode, reassign, and it's literally, although the process of making him a provision is irreversible, you can still reassign him to different trade routes. Like, I'd just reassign him. Also, if you've not named the gun, you can just have a look and, you know, what is it, a case of deduction. Like, if you want to know where he's coming from, his trade route will not be on the list. Like, say like he's from Greentop Nursery, Greentop Nursery will not be on the trade routes that I can send him to, so you therefore know through the case of deduction. But like I say, it is a lot easier to just do it from the start and name his gun on the trade route, and then you don't have to. I mean, I think I had an instance where like I say, my trade routes were all over the place, and I tried reassigning them all, and I just thought, bollocks to it, and I sent them all to, sounds a bit brutal, but I sent them all to Red Rocket Station, all the provisioners that I wanted to reassign, because I couldn't figure it out, and just killed them all and started again. Hence why the Red Rocket Truck Station is like 9% happy and empty. But your recruitment beacons sort that out. That's one way of reconfiguring it. But the easiest way, like I say, is just to name their gun on the trade route. It saves any complications. Alternatively, if you're feeling like a journey, you can just follow them, but they do not take, I don't know, the most conventional routes to where they're going. So yeah, and like I say, if you want to collect them, I don't think the town bell does much effect to getting the provisioners in town. Literally just go to a bed in the settlement where you want to reassign your provisioners, sleep for an hour or wait for an hour on a bench or something, and they will walk through the gate. If they're not there straight away, they'll be down the road. So, but yeah, that pretty much concludes everything to do with the trade routes. Like I say, they are essential. If you I probably should have made this the second part, or even part of the first part. Like after you've got your perimeter sorted for your base, get your trade routes sorted, and it will just save fanning around, and yeah, just make it quicker and easier. These are like, this is an example of like the prefabs I mentioned earlier. Just saves building it, but then on the other instance I built that and that, so you mix it up a bit as and when, and depending on how many resources you got, obviously. I don't know how much time I got left on this video, but while I have, another good tip for getting resources is these scrapping stations. They might not seem to have much effect. It's worth, like I say, when you start a settlement, it's worth bearing in mind what you want it to do, or what its purpose is. It's probably, I haven't done it yet, but it's probably a good idea to have a settlement just producing scrap. Like say, get 6 or 7 of these assigned. Oh yeah, the process of assigning settlers, if you're not aware of it already. If you are, then just ignore what I'm saying. But yeah, just go to your workshop mode, go to a settler that's living there, and command click on them, and then you'll see that the tabs at the bottom change to go, cancel or exit, and you go to a resource, like you can assign them, and it just flashes up. I don't know why you could send them to a plank, but anyway. Shops as well, you can assign them to shops. Artillery guns, which is something we'll discuss later when I go to the castle. They're really awesome, by the way. These, invest in them, do the Minutemen missions. They're handy as well, besides anything else. But yeah, that pretty much covers settler assignment and trade routes. If you got any questions, just leave a comment and I'll get back as soon as I can. If you haven't guessed, I do play Fallout quite a bit, so yeah, the chances are I will get back to you pretty quick. And you know, you might have some tips for me, so it's all good. Anyway, there was probably some other stuff which I was meant to put in this video, but while I've got the time, no, I ain't got time to go through power yet. Water and food. Well, water, I don't think I've got time for farming yet, but water. In Starlight Driving, it's a little bit specific, like I've got a pool of water, so you build one of them. It's easy. I think you need science perks for them. Failing that, literally just go to the resources, and it's underwater, standard, and water pumps. Gears are quite hard to find. I think the best thing is telephones, alarm clocks, adjustable wrenches, I think. But yeah, you can only place them in dirt, which is a bit of a pain in the arse basically. But yeah, they'll give you free water, standard. So, but like I say, like I said earlier, with the size of your settlement, all depends on how much stuff you've got in it. If you can build one of these instead of a load of water pumps, obviously it will mean you can build other stuff, power armor stations, bars, whatever, you know. So speculate to accumulate, shrink it